Yeah.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the fifth Hockey Thursday talk, hosted by Inline Hockey Island and Cork Wolfpack. So just before we start, we ask you, as usual, to leave your mic muted for the duration of the talk, so everyone can hear. This talk will be recorded and posted on the IHI's YouTube channel. If you have any technical issues, just use the written chat. And finally, we'll be taking questions at the end of the talk if you have any. Thanks. So my name is Ken, and today we have our fifth guest in the series. Please welcome Brett Nugent, operator at Next Generation Hockey in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. So hi, Brett. It's been a long time since we played together.
Yeah.
Glad to have you here.
Yeah, for sure. No, great to be here.
Yeah, it's been a long time since Sweden. I remember when we
Yeah, it's been a couple of years.
yeah. So, others that are here might not know you, but so can you just talk to us a little bit about your hockey career? When you played ice hockey in AAA, for example, how did you discover hockey, etc.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely. So I grew up obviously playing in Canada here. I'm from Quebec actually, so I grew up just across the border from Ottawa in Ontario. But yeah, I grew up my whole life playing hockey in Quebec, all around the regions. I used to travel pretty far for hockey. Where I live, it's kind of out in the country, so anywhere I had to go to play hockey, I had to travel fairly far to get around, and even for training and stuff like that. I was always probably driving at least half an hour, maybe an hour everywhere I had to go just to train. And then whenever I was playing competitive hockey, so I grew up playing competitive pretty much my whole life. And for us to play competitive, a lot of the top teams are in Montreal and Quebec City and stuff like that. So I used to have to travel 2, 3 hours on weekends for games, and then teams would take buses. Obviously, we're traveling 3, 4, 5 hours sometimes for tournaments and games and everything else like that. But yeah, no, I started off whenever I was a kid. Started playing house league. I wasn't the greatest at first, and then I started training a lot on my own. I had to do a lot of my own stuff because where I was, like where I was out in the country, so I
I'm
didn't
afraid you're
really
breaking up a little bit here.
have a lot of stuff next to me, but yeah, I did a lot of my own training and then gradually worked my. Is that a little better? I don't know if it's any
Yeah,
better or not, but
you are breaking a little bit here.
um, here maybe without the video, it might help, but I'll try and go with. I'll try and just use the mic if that works any better, but can't really make any promises. Like I said, where I live too, our internet's not always 100%, but hopefully this works. Um, yeah, so after I finished my minor hockey, played double A, triple A. The double A that I played, actually, we competed in the triple A league on the Ottawa side. And then after that, I played junior. I played a little bit of junior A. Mostly I played junior B. And that's whenever I finished my career. Well, that's whenever I got hurt. I got hurt playing junior B hockey. And then yeah, that's kind of what ended my career. But after that I was working for at the time asked me if I wanted to partner up, and then yeah, that's how I got into running my own hockey facility now.
This is great, and you talked about travel for hockey, and that's I think one of the biggest elements of hockey is a lot of travel because well I've talked to you that for example here in Ireland even in inline hockey we don't necessarily have all the facilities, so to play the games we have basically two proper inline hockey facilities that we can use, one in Northern Ireland and one in the Midlands, so which is the central area of Ireland. So for most teams, you have to travel between 3 hours and a half and sometimes five hours to just play one or two games. To play games, sometimes I've seen a couple of young players, thinking that it's a bit long, but even from your experience, we can say that it's a big part of hockey, and I think a nice part of hockey. Would you agree with that?
Oh, for sure. I mean, yeah, sometimes it's a little bit long whenever you're traveling. Like I said, 3 4 hours for games, and you're up early. You have to travel half an hour just for practices and stuff like that. But I mean, some of the funnest times you have are whenever you're on the road, to be honest. I mean, I had some of the best times just hanging out with your teammates and all the road trips and everything like that. That's whenever you really get a lot of the camaraderie and a lot of the stuff where, like I said, whenever you're just running back and forth, if you live next door to the rink, you don't get as much of that experience. But I mean, yeah, traveling, that's half the fun too of not just hockey, but any sport really, where you get to go meet new people. You get to see different parts of the city and even parts of your country. If you're lucky, you get to move around, and yeah, traveling some of the funnest part, to be honest.
Uh, I completely agree with that, and I hope our young players here will get the same kind of, I guess, nostalgia
Yeah, yeah,
for those
for
times.
sure.
Yeah. And so you mentioned that you also, when you started hockey, you were saying that you were not really good, but you worked at home, you practiced at home. How often did you practice at home, by the way? And I think that's quite relevant in the current lockdown here. How often do you practice to reach up that level of AAA?
I was training almost every, especially whenever I was in high school and like in career. Yeah, I was training almost literally every day. I was doing dry land stuff on my own, and then do my own workouts at home. And then after that, I was trying to look any extra ice time I could find around. I would ask people if they were renting the ice, or like I said, after actually I came back from our Sweden trip, that's whenever I got in contact with my former boss, and he was the one that was running a lot of on ice camps and everything like that. So I just reached out to anybody I could that I knew was going to be putting on some sort of training. And yeah, the more I could find, the better. Like I said, a lot of times you're not going to have anything handed to you. And I was always a good athlete. I was always good at any sport that I played. Played every sport pretty much growing up: football, soccer, yeah, you name it, I played it. And yeah, I was always pretty well natural talented, but like never an elite athlete at certain areas. So whenever I really wanted to make a push for hockey, I had to put a lot of work in just on my own. And yeah, like I said, anytime I could find anything extra around myself or somebody else was offering, then yeah, I tried to jump on it as much as I could, to be honest.
And you mentioned that that's something that really picked up my interest here is that you said that you played other sports. So if someone, for example, someone would give you that statement that I've seen, from some coaches saying, yeah, you should only focus on hockey and play only ice hockey or inline hockey and nothing else. What would your answer be towards that statement?
Uh, I think that's crazy, to be honest. Even my own athletes. So whenever I have guys coming and training with us, especially I know during the season, like people are crazy. You have crazy schedules. I know guys that don't get a single day off. You have practices all week and then maybe dry land and then you're working out at the gym, and then after that on weekends you have all your games. Especially if you got tournaments, you're even playing 2 3 times a day. So yeah, whenever it comes to even just developing other techniques and stuff like that, like I know I used to play baseball, and that helped me with my hand-eye coordination. I mean, soccer was great for trying to keep up your endurance. Yeah, every sport. I mean, you could take things away from any sport that are going to help you out in your normal like sport that you guys might play. I know. I mean, even whenever I was training, I was doing yoga and stuff like that, because anything extra that you do that helps with your mobility, helps with your strength training. Like I said, you can always improve your game, and it, if you're always just kind of playing one game, I mean, you might end up getting sick of it. I know people that pretty much grew up and lived inside an arena, and by the time they got to their junior years or to their level where, I mean, they were getting drafted and stuff like that. I knew guys that were almost kind of fed up and sick of sport just because that's all they've ever known. And yeah, you never really get the chance to have fun playing other things. So yeah, I know anytime I even have kids come in during the summer and stuff like that. It's always good to keep up your hockey training, but I always tell people you got to get out and try some other things too, because yeah, you might even find something that you like more than what you're doing. So unless you go out and try it, then you'll never know. But yeah, no, like I said, I played every sport in high school. I was quarterback playing football. I played basketball. They asked me to be on the volleyball team. I played rugby. Yeah, like I said, any sport I could get my hands on, I wanted to play it just because I just love playing games and stuff like that. Obviously, I focused mainly on hockey, but yeah, no, like I said, I tell everybody it's always good to try out some other sports and yeah, just to kind of get a different view of what's out there.
And so, by talking about those other sports, you mentioned something about working on your motion. For example, when you talked about yoga, the endurance with soccer, for example, and is that something also that you're telling players and you're working on in at Next Generation Hockey in terms of their conditioning? How does that work exactly? And I think you have a presentation for us on how the training works at Next Generation Hockey. So would you mind?
Yeah, sure. Um, uh, Yeah, I'll just give a quick little talk. I mean, like I said before, whenever it comes to our hockey camps and stuff like that, I mean, normally obviously we focus on the hockey side of things, but even whenever it comes to our week-long camps and stuff like that, we always get kids outside and we'll play other games like soccer and then baseball and football and stuff like that. But yeah, no, like when it comes to endurance and all that stuff, we've created training programs that help people keep up with all their fitness levels and all that stuff as well. But yeah, I mean, obviously, like I said, we focus on hockey, but there's other times where we kind of open up eyes to other sports and stuff like that that may help. Like I was mentioning before, helping with your hand-eye coordination and all that stuff. There's a lot of different things that you can do that's going to help that. That's not specifically hockey related. So it always transfers over, but yeah, there's lots of things that you can do to help. Yeah, here I can try opening up my thing here. Hopefully it works, and yeah, I'll give you that little presentation I put together. I think you're gonna have to enable the screen sharing over
Oh yeah, so I should make you
here.
co-host. uh,
I mean, if not, you can open it up on yours. There we go.
there
Here,
you go. I think you can share it now.
perfect. Here we go. All right. All right. Can you see that? Is that good?
Yep, I can see the screen. And if anybody else can't see the screen, just make sure you write that in the chat.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, this is Next Generation Hockey. So this is like the company that I'm part of. Um, So what we do, like whenever I have a skating treadmill, so inside my facility itself, we don't have an actual arena, but we have a skating treadmill, and then we have it's called the RapidShot range with the Rapid Hands range. So the skating treadmill, it's literally just a treadmill, except you put your hockey skates on and you're skating on it. We work on all aspects of a player's stride. We do forwards, backwards. I teach kids stick handling, shooting. The best part about the treadmill is that it really helps you isolate all aspects of your stride. So we have a giant mirror that's sitting in front of you, and then at the same time, we have cameras that are coming from different angles. So while you're skating, you're able to see yourself, and you can kind of see what areas of your stride you need to work on and what things we can help with. I'm always typically in the room with the athletes, so I'm working with them face to face all the time. So I always know what players need to work on, and like I said, what aspects of their stride they need to improve. Like I said, the thing about the treadmill is that we can put it up and down. We get to control the speed, so it's almost like we control the ice. So a lot of times, whenever people are trying to work on their speed and power and acceleration, maybe they start working a little bit too fast, and that's whenever you kind of lose the proper techniques and stuff like that. So we're able to, like I said, we control the speed of the treadmill. So if we need to make sure you slow it down just so that we get the proper technique down first, then we gradually increase speed and work on different areas. Like I said, explosion, power, acceleration, which is all things that are really fun to work on. we got a couple videos and stuff here that are part of it. I don't know if this will work, but let's see if you guys can see this.
I think we can, yeah.
Like I said, this is just a couple videos that we have from our own site and our Facebook and everything like that, but all stuff that well, so that one wasn't very great, but let's see if didn't pan out as well. But
Anyway, I believe you also have a YouTube channel where you show those same drills.
yeah, like I said, so we have, well, here's just a couple of videos like that, but yeah, whenever it comes to the actual stuff, I mean, I'll give you guys the link to our Facebook and all that stuff, our Instagram, and then our YouTube videos, so that way you guys can check it out yourselves if you want. Yeah, so then this here is the RapidShot, like I was mentioning. So on the treadmill, we focus. That's where we try and get all your skating stuff down, even though we do work on shooting and stick handling while you're in stride. The RapidShot, it works a little bit different. It's literally just a shooting range where pucks are passed to you, and every time you get a puck, there's targets that light up on the machine, and then the machine takes track of all of your stats. So it tracks your speed, your reaction time, your accuracy. We can work on different types of shots. So obviously we got your classic wrist shot. We do stride shooting, slap shots, backhands. We have a ton of drills that we do in there as well. Like I said, if you check out our site, you can see all the stuff that we do. It's really sweet. Like I said, again, it's always one-on-one coaching, and we can see what areas of your stride, your shot that you need to work on. Everybody's always got a little something different, and some people obviously just have a little natural talent when it comes to their stick handling and their shooting, and then some people need to work on it a bit more. So obviously, like I said, we kind of just break it down piece by piece, and we start back from the basics whenever it comes to that, and then gradually work on getting things a little bit better from where you start. But the good thing about having all those stats is that you can keep track of yourself. So this guy here, he plays for an OHL team. He played for the 67s. This is just him working on his hands. So that's our Rapid Hands machine that tracks your stick handling as well. He actually got drafted to San Jose Sharks. So he's one of the draft prospects that they have. He's pretty good.
I can imagine.
Yeah, he's sick. He actually played for Team USA in the World Juniors as well. This guy, he's just one of our elite athletes that played. He played midget where we are, and so this is a machine. You take passes, you get ready, you see a target, and then you gotta shoot, aim for targets. Like I said, there's a computer that tracks and logs all of the info as you're shooting. So again, it's pretty cool to see all your stats, and then that way you're able to see how you progress as well. So you can see your shot getting better as you get more time inside the machine. Then we have our on ice training. So again, pretty much anything you can think of on the ice, all of your individual skills. So we focus mainly on skill development now on the ice. When it comes to power skating and stuff like that, we tend to gear people more towards our treadmill training, because that's going to help you more with your power skating. Obviously, we still do skating stuff on the ice too, but we realize now that the game of hockey is so much more tailored towards skill development and stuff like that. So whenever we do our on ice training, we try to gear our programs a little bit more towards the skill side of things. We have individual training, so one-on-one, and then we have training of groups all the way up to like 30 kids. But obviously we have an appropriate amount of coaches. There's always at least 6-7 coaches on the ice, so people are always taking care of different areas. Like I said, we have things that are geared towards elite level athletes to basic level skill players. Everybody's different, right? So we gear stuff towards forwards, defense, in trying stuff as game applicable as possible. So anytime we're able to make a situation like game oriented, then that's what we'll train our athletes to do too. So your skills are always going to be geared towards that kind of stuff. This year is just a quick little video too. I know we do our training with some very elite athletes. Like I said, we're the head of development for the 67s, so we work with the junior teams a lot. This year is just some basic skills. So yeah, so that's just, I mean, that's just a quick little look. That's working with actually some of the OHL guys. So that's our 67s program. But we work with a couple of universities and stuff as well. So yeah, we got quite a large number of guys that we work with. We work with some NHL players and stuff as well too. So we got a lot of pro guys in there that always just want to focus on their skill development. And then we have, so this just here, player consulting. So this is just some stuff that we help out all our athletes with as well when it comes to choosing their career path in hockey, or what level of like training and stuff they should be doing at certain ages. Again, advantages and disadvantages of certain routes that you can take when it comes to your playing career and stuff like that. So again, everybody's different when it comes to girls hockey, guys hockey. When it comes to playing junior or going and playing collegiate level, playing in the States versus playing in Canada, stuff like that. Obviously, like I said, there's so many different programs now that people can do. So we try to advise athletes what their best path would be to take whenever it comes to trying to reach their goals. So we do a lot of that as well. There's just like a quick look at some of our week-long camps. So like I mentioned before, our hockey camps that we host all summer long typically, and then a lot during the winter time as well. But we do off ice training, so all hockey specific workouts. We have hockey camps that are only on the ice. Then we have some hockey camps that are on ice mixed with off ice. We have camps that have on ice mixed with our treadmill and our RapidShot shooting. Yeah, like I said, our camps pretty much cover everything. We have camps that are specifically for forwards, camps that are just for defensemen. Again, like I said, it really depends what you want, but our company pretty much covers any area you can think of. So yeah, like those camps are really good, especially during the summertime. You're getting ready to go back to hockey season, and right before training camp comes up, it's always good to kind of push yourself a little bit extra those last couple weeks you have before tryouts and stuff. So that's whenever we typically gear a lot of our hockey camps towards. But I mean, obviously, like I said, we do training all year round as well. Then this is just kind of come and check us out. Like I said, we got so many things that we do that help people out. So check us out on Facebook and on Instagram. We have our Next Gen Hockey, and then we have Next Gen Hockey Gatineau. So the Gatineau facility is the one that I focus on the most. That's my specific facility, but I help out obviously everywhere that we are. Here's just a quick YouTube video, like I said, that kind of shows what our treadmill and stuff like that looks like. Goes through some of our hockey training stuff too. This is just a mini ice, but
So those were the videos that you were talking about with the cameras and taking a look at the motion of the strides, right?
Yeah, so that's pretty much all I had for this little presentation thing. But yeah, I mean, hopefully that was kind of cool.
So you might not have heard me, but basically what you were showing on the video was basically what you were talking about with the camera and the videos to analyze the stride of the players, right?
Yeah, exactly. So like I said, whenever it comes to having like your a lot of times a coach or whatever like that telling you what you need to fix, maybe it's not as easy to visualize. So whenever you have again those cameras and then the giant mirror and stuff like that in front of you, then even whenever we're talking to you, you can kind of see what we're getting at, and it's easier to kind of know what you need to work on when it comes to that. So yeah, all that stuff comes into play, and again, it makes it easier for people to train themselves and kind of fix their own errors whenever they have the opportunity to see themselves.
Mm. And so talking about coaches, so you know our situation in Ireland. I mentioned that to you previously. Um, so you mentioned videotaping players so they get better and helping visualize. What would be the advice for a country such as us, which just only has ice for about 2-3 months, and mostly inline hockey? And even inline hockey, you can work on all those items such as stick handling, shooting, even skating. What would be one advice or the key elements that coaches here in Ireland should focus on and players to be aware of, in your opinion?
I mean, like everybody needs to kind of work on different things. So it's not easy just to pick out one area that people need to work on. I know even for myself, like different people learn in different ways as well. So the more that you're able to just listen to your athletes, like that's what I find the biggest thing that helps me is just listening to my players and knowing what they really feel like they need to work on. Obviously, I can see the different areas that they really need help in, but sometimes like coaches just focus on what they see, and then they don't really focus on what the player feels like they want or they need. So, in order to be a good coach, you have to have a good connection, and to have a good connection with your players. That's the only reason. That's the best way to get through them whenever it comes to helping them train. But to do that, like I said, you just got to really communicate and listen to your athletes. I know a lot of coaches, even for myself growing up, they do a lot more talking at you instead of communicating with you, sort of deal. And it's hard for an athlete to learn whenever they always just feel like they're being talked down to or talked at instead of actually communicated with. So yeah, I think that's the biggest thing that I always find is really just trying to connect with your athletes instead of trying to just tell them what you think is right. Because again, for one player, they might learn a better way than like through visual. Another player might work better through communication and stuff like that. So yeah, just really trying to understand your athletes is the best advice I could give, to be honest.
I think that's very wise. And also, I've seen in the video that at some point you were working with a player to simulate the situation of receiving a body check on the treadmill, I believe.
Yeah.
So you work also on the technique of body checks. Do you have, for example, some advice on how to train? Because player safety is really key for any young players. And even in inline hockey, when we don't have body checks per se, sometimes things can get physical. Um, how do you train for that? For example, for safety of the players. I think that's something very interesting.
I mean, yeah. Well, like I said, that's how I got hurt. Right, was me just playing hockey. I got hit from behind in the boards, and when I went into the boards, I went head first, and I broke my neck. So that was how I got hurt. Was from a contact play, and it wasn't even dirty, to be honest. It was just kind of an off balance play that it went kind of south. To be honest, I've had 100 times worse hits than that from behind playing hockey and stuff like that. And playing contact, I've taken some big body checks. But the one time that I hurt myself was just going awkwardly into the boards. And yeah, like I said, for all your athletes, safety is number one, right? We're playing to have fun, and we're not trying to hurt anybody. But regardless if there's contact or not, there's always some physical aspect to the sport. That's what makes it fun. And we focus mainly on the idea behind body checking, which is trying to separate players from the puck and trying to gain an advantage, right? And if you're just out there trying to hurt somebody, then you're not playing contact for a reason. You're playing contact because you want to hurt, right? And yeah, whenever we teach contact clinics and stuff like that, we work on proper body separation. So really, it's just like I said, trying to gain an advantage over another player where you're trying to separate them from the puck. And in order to do that, it's more about taking proper angles and um, focusing more on the puck side of things instead of strictly trying to hit somebody. So yeah, there's always safer ways to go about that. I mean, you want to make sure that you're always in a proper position. If you're going to make any contact, you're not going to be hitting people from behind or in a vulnerable position. And like I said, whenever you're aiming to kind of gain advantages over players, then you're not gaining to hurt them. You're looking to make a play for yourself. So yeah, that's what we focus on whenever we're teaching contact, is that you're trying to gain advantage, which is to gain the puck and then hopefully make a play that benefits your team. You're not playing contact to try and just lay people out. It's always nice to throw a big hit. You're going to get a little momentum from your side of the team. But again, whenever we're out there playing, we're just trying to play and have fun and stuff. So yeah, contact should be based on trying to gain technical advantage, not strictly for trying to hurt somebody.
Yeah, I think that's an important message, and even if you're playing in house league, that's something to take into account, right?
No, for sure. Yeah, like I said, all levels of hockey, whether it's contact or not, there's going to be some sort of physical aspect to it. And yeah, like I said, if you're doing it smart, you can play even a full game of contact hockey without actually throwing a big hit, but you're still able to separate people from the puck, and that's the main part whenever
Okay. Well, guess our time is almost up. I wish we had more time, really. But anyway, it was super nice
we're talking. Yeah,
to
for
have
sure.
you today. And thank you for coming, today and speaking with us. When I come to Canada, I guess in a couple of months, Wolfpack. So you have the mini version of the jersey here. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
not? Yeah, yes. That's just a mini version, and we're gonna offer you a full size Cock Wolfpack jersey.
Oh, sweet.
So thanks for coming by.
Oh, no, man, I really appreciate it. Thanks for having me. Yeah, this was a lot of fun. Too bad we didn't have any more time, but yeah, whenever you come to Canada, we'll definitely link up and I'll show you the ropes.
All right, hold you to that. Anyway, so guess our time is up here. If anybody has any one question, I guess we have time for one question from the audience, if you
Sure.
have any. Um, so I guess we could just leave 30 seconds if anybody has questions.
Yeah, if
Uh,
anybody's got a question, feel free
yeah.
to shoot.
But I guess if they don't have that one question right now, they can always send it
Not,
to us,
yeah.
and I'll send them your way. And
Yeah,
we
definitely.
got
Like I said, if
a little question here. Oh yeah, that's right, because forgot to tell you, we have a little hockey challenge
oh yeah,
for our
nice.
guests here. So in ice hockey, who is your favorite team?
Well, I'm a Sens fan. Unfortunately, the Ottawa Senators are my team, but they're not doing so hot right now. But to be honest, I just love the game. I love hockey, so I really just like watching all teams play. The game is so fun to watch now, and it's so fast and high pace that there's so much skill level involved, and I just love watching the top athletes at the top of their game, and I really just appreciate watching the game in general.
Okay. And what would be your favorite player?
Favorite player? I don't know. That's tough. I was always a big Carlson fan. Eric Carlson was my boy. He's unreal. But there's so many good players now to watch. I think McKinnon is obviously one of my favorite guys to watch. He's so fast and so talented. And then I mean, you can't hate McDavid or Crosby. All those guys that are playing at such a high level and they can do everything. I mean, at such a high pace, it's crazy to watch. But yeah, I think Carlson is probably my favorite player.
All right, so we have two more questions that I think people are quite interested here. One of them is
Sure.
yeah, we might get cut off. So
Yeah, go
anyway, I'll
fast.
send you the questions. At the worst, by chat.
Yeah, for sure.
Have any players gone through Next Generation, gone onto the NHL? That's from Michael Green.
Uh, yeah, like I said, we're the head of player development for the Ottawa 67s. So I've worked with a lot of 67s players. Those are a lot of OHL guys that have gone. A few of them have gone drafted. I've worked with a couple guys, like I said, that train or that play in the NHL, and during the off season they'll come in a lot of times come and train with us. They focus mostly on their on ice side of things, so that's usually my partners and stuff that work with them. My boss has even gotten contact, or my partner, I should say, he's been contacted by a few teams, agents and all that stuff that'll contact us and ask if their players can train with us during the summer. They got a lot of skills and stuff like that that they like to work on. So yeah, we've had a number of guys that have come in over to us and that we've worked with in the NHL. They're fun to work with. Like I said, even OHL or junior level players. We've got some guys from the Q and guys that play college. So we get a lot of top athletes that come through. But yeah, work with a couple NHL guys.
And the other question we had is from Daniel Dever. How much would the hockey treadmill cost? Because apparently that person really wants it.
The treadmill itself
I guess the treadmill itself, yeah.
is yeah, the treadmill itself is pretty expensive. You could buy a brand new one for 140, $160,000 Canadian. Some of them, like I said, you can find them cheaper or whatever. Like we found ours. Ours is a used one, not super old. It only had a couple hundred hours on it whenever we got it, but we put brand new track and everything on it, so it was pretty much like new whenever you were jumping on. But yeah, no, they're pretty expensive toys. It's not easy to just put one in your basement or anything like that. But yeah, no, they're not the cheapest toys to have.
So anyway, thanks Brett for joining us today, and thank you for everyone for joining us. And you'll be able to watch the video online on YouTube in a week.
Yeah,
Thanks.
awesome, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate you giving me a call, and it was super fun.
All right, bye, Brett.